So to end 2024, I flew to Cape Town to meet some friends and spent just about over a month living there. Through this time, I kind of wanted to take you guys along with me to show you guys some of my favorite spots and to take you guys through some of my favorite photos that I took during this time. So the first night that I got into Cape Town, it was right after I got off an 11.5-hour flight from London. Right when I got there, my friends took me to go see sunset at Maiden's Cove. At Maiden's Cove, you can see this really epic view of a mountain range called the 12 Apostles. We actually went back a few times to Maiden's Cove after that, but we've gone at some really windy times, and when it gets windy out there, it's absolutely brutal. One of my favorite spots in Cape Town is about an hour outside of town called Kogel Bay Beach. On the drive there's a lot of little pull-offs that you can stop at to take photos, which of course we did. Along this route, you drive alongside the ocean where you see the mountains in the distance, and it's this really beautiful scenic route. And once you do get to the beach, it's a really big beach with lots of little caves to explore, and apparently it's really good for surfing, but I didn't get the chance to surf out there. Kogel Bay became one of those spots that we came back to a few times just because it was super stunning to watch the sunset out there, and some of my favorite photos that I took on this trip were at Kogel Bay Beach. Another one of my favorite spots in Cape Town was this spot called The Rock. Yeah, it's literally called The Rock. It's this spot that kind of overlooks the Camps Bay area, but it is amazing up there. I think it's, for me anyways, I like this spot a bit better than Maiden's Cove because you get to be a bit higher up and you just see the 12 Apostles in the background. You also see the Lion's Head on your left, and the ocean is just all the way as far as you can see on the right. And then the sun just sets in the horizon. I have noticed this weird thing in Cape Town on multiple occasions where out of nowhere, it'll be a completely clear day, but around sunset, some clouds just show up around the horizon and kill off the light. During my time in Cape Town, we also did quite a few hikes, but some of the more memorable ones were this hike called Kloofs Corner and this other hike called Mont Rochelle. When we did Kloofs Corner, the first time we did it was, I want to say it was New Year's Day, and essentially I find that the pattern for a lot of the hikes that I've done in Cape Town was that people won't give me context on these hikes, and I'll just go on the hikes and then it looks like I never see the top of the hike until I see the top. Kloofs Corner is essentially a 40-minute uphill grind where you just keep going up and up and up until you see this viewpoint. Or the viewpoint's really cool. You just see a really clear view of the Lion's Head, and I find that a lot of the spots in Cape Town are really good for sunset, so sunset's gonna come up a lot in this video. The other hike I did was called Mont Rochelle. I'm not exactly sure which hike it was in the Mont Rochelle area, but it was one of those hikes as well, like I mentioned before, where we went and went and went until we got to the end. Well, that's how I felt anyways. But we were also on a compressed timeline for sunsets, so we had to hike as quickly as we could up to the viewpoint and hope we'd still catch the tail end of sunset, which luckily we did. And there were some thin clouds in the sky that day, so as the sun set, the color just kind of casted onto the clouds and just created this really beautiful pink and blue sunset. Also, I found out there were penguins in South Africa, so that was super neat. It was my first time seeing a penguin, and it's kind of strange to think that the first time I saw a penguin was in South Africa. So my biggest highlight on this trip was actually being able to drive a Cobra around for a day. One of my friends, Danilo, he's a local to Cape Town, and he was able to show us some really cool spots to take the car. So during this day, I wasn't actually, weirdly enough, behind the camera. I was in front of the camera a lot because I was the person on the insurance to drive the car. So on the day that we had the Cobra, we started off the day in Maiden's Cove, and then we drove down to Chapman's Peak, right outside of town, all the way across from there to Misty Cliffs. Realized it was really overcast, so we spent a little bit of time out in Misty Cliffs driving back and forth, and then since it was really overcast and it started raining, this car that I was driving actually didn't have windshield wipers, so that was great. So we decided to drive back quickly over from Misty Cliffs back to Chapman's Peak to catch the last little bit of sunset. Yeah, it was not a fun experience driving a car while it was sprinkling with no windshield wipers. I could not see anything for the longest time. That wasn't an ideal situation to be stuck in. And weirdly enough, from one side to the other, about half an hour away, it went from completely overcast to completely clear and golden light for sunset. And yeah, from there, that about summarizes my time in Cape Town. Well, I guess the highlights of my time in Cape Town anyways. And from there, I had to fly 11 and a half hours from Cape Town up to Munich, spent a 12-hour layover in Munich, flew from Munich to Frankfurt, had a 2.5-hour layover in Frankfurt before flying back another 11 and a half hours back to Vancouver. So I forgot to record an outro, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like and comment and subscribe if you want to, and let me know what kind of content you guys want to see in this channel. Hope you guys stick around for the next one. God, that was rough.
It's tough to fucking do. You can even like talk to the camera.
Yeah, I don't know how, I really don't know how this is going to turn out, but